Hey everybody, it is Tony and I want to welcome you to my living room. So as some of you may know, I'm switching it up a little bit, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I want to switch it up and why I have you in my living room and doing it this way, because I'm making a shift in how I do things and how I come about and come across. I want to be more intimate. I want to be more personal. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of my pain, a lot of my suffering that I've gone through, a lot of troubles, a lot of struggles. And I just want to share those with you. And what better place than to do it from the living room? And I think it's amazing to do it this way because it's intimate and it's personal. And in a living room, it's intimate and it's personal. So you hear about sadness in a living room. You hear about grief in a living room. You hear about love, laughter, anger, frustration, overwhelm, all of that in a living room. So I want to bring you into my living room here, and we're gonna just have some fun. I'm gonna pour my heart out. I'm gonna add some value to you, and I'm gonna share my pain and suffering, invite you into a glimpse of my soul, because a lot of these videos that I'm sharing are stuff that I have gone through, or stuff that I'm currently going through, or something that has triggered, not really triggered, but reminded me, and I'm reflecting on something that I went through and have gone through. Why am I doing this? I want to add value to people because I know there's other people who are experiencing similar things or going through exactly what I've gone through. And I want to share that so that you can, one, gives you hope, and two, so you can implement this stuff into your life and make the changes and get the freedom, the confidence, and fulfillment that you're looking for. So I want to talk today about surrendering, what it means to surrender and how to do it. And I want to share a little bit about my struggles in this area. So I've been a Christian for 9 years. And there's a lot of people that don't believe, but there's a way to surrender even if you don't believe. Surrendering is not just religious, just so you know. But there's a way to do that. And I struggled. I struggled for many years on surrendering. Mainly as a guy, we're taught to do it on our own. We're taught not to ask for help or not. We got to deal with it, our weaknesses. If we have to ask for help in any form, we're considered weak and struggling. And I remember giving it. I was taught, just give it to God, and He'll take it from you. And I would do that. And some things, I got relief from. But oftentimes, what I found out is I would surrender it, but then it would come right back up down the road when something else happened that was similar to that aspect. And it would continue to do that. And especially with my anger. And I've shared, if you look at my past videos, I used to suffer from anger really bad. I have my daughter on here sharing this stuff too. So I used to really suffer from anger. That's the biggest one. And now there's a ton more of that. And I'll share these in later videos as well. Fears, anxieties. At one point in my late 20s, I believe it was, suffered from depression, and I had a different type of anxiety where I would actually go into a rage versus having a hyperventilate kind of thing. But you had these fears, you had these doubts, and anger is probably the biggest one. And anger is like the tip of the iceberg, right? And because you got all this other stuff underneath. And I'll just give the example of my anger. So I would say, all right, God, take this away, and it would end up coming back. Take this away, and it would end up coming back. So we are taught mainly to surrender one way. Just give it to God, and that's it. And or the universe, however you want to, however you believe, and however you're looking at that. And what I found that there's a second part to that. The second part is surrendering who you are, your ego, surrendering to yourself, surrendering yourself. I should not to yourself, but surrendering yourself, because when you don't surrender yourself, this is why it comes back up, because the ego, the enemy, however you want to look at it, wants to control you. It wants to have control. It's going to lie to you. It's going to tell you you're not good enough. It's going to tell you that you have to hold on to that. You have to do it by yourself. There's no one else that can help you. There's no other thing that can help you outside of you, something that's greater than you. You can't. You have to do it on your own. You have to take the burden on. This is just who you are. You can't do that. Don't do that. And it consumes us. And then we're filled with anxiety. I know I was. And then that made the anger worse for me. They made the fears worse. Whether I was dealing with fear of failure, a fear of not providing for my daughter, financial, whatnot. And I'll go into detail on these in later videos. And what I found is, if you don't do that second part, is pretty much die to yourself. Nail yourself to the cross if you're religious in any way. But die to yourself, die to the ego, and surrender it, and realizing that God has it all. He's the one that handles it all. So there's two parts. You got to surrender it to Him, and you got to die to yourself, die to your ego. Let that go. And when you do this, it's almost like, I like this joke around and say it's like magic, right? It's like, oh, it's just magical. You will invite more freedom. You will find more peace, and you will release the pain, the suffering that's deep down inside. A lot of what's taught is cognitive, and I did that for years, and I got some great results. But there's the second part of that, and that's the deep down, subconscious, down to the heart of things, the energy, the spiritual work that needs to be done, where our trapped emotions are. And I had a lot of it. This is where I had to really hone in on the anger. And this is stuff I'm still working with now. So I've had a lot of fears just come up recently. I'm working through some stuff. God's revealing a lot of things to me. And I'm working through that. And I'm starting to learn more and more about the surrender, that there's two parts to it. It's not just giving it to Him. We got to do the work here too. We got to surrender ourselves to Him, to the universe, to the higher conscious, whatever that means to you. And when you do, you find peace. When you do, you're able to find out who you really are. And you're able to step into that authenticity. And when you have authenticity, now you have true freedom. When you are free to be really you, and you're not believing the lie of the ego, you're understanding that you're letting it go to something that's higher than you, something that's greater than you. You're doing both of those. You have freedom. And when you have freedom, you're authentic. And when you're authentic, you have unbreakable confidence. And this is what I've learned over the past 4 years. This is what I've learned over the past several years of just working on myself and working through my own junk. And I get people ask me, how did you get through this anger? How are you dealing with this? How did you overcome this? And I'm going to be doing some videos as well, answering those questions that I get on a daily basis from sharing my pain and my suffering. Because there is some beauty, actually not some, there is a ton of beauty in sharing your pain and suffering. Not only does it fully release you and release you more to be free, to release the anxiety, to release the fears, to release the doubts, to release the pain, and actually just give up on the how, because we don't need to know the how. That's not for us to figure out. That's for God to figure out. But the ego, the personality, the self says, no, you have to control that. You have to do that. And that's what I did for years. And men, that's what we're taught. And it's a hard habit to break. But the more you do it, the more you go through this process of self-discovery, the more freedom you gain, the more emotional mastery you gain, the more mental clarity you gain. And that's what I've done. I've walked this process. Now, some of these pains and some of these attachments and some of these worries of the ego, the self, they'll come in layers. So you'll remove some, but as you start moving and at the need and the right time, right when you're ready, things will come back up and you'll have another lesson, another layer you can peel back. And sometimes God will reveal a lot at one time. And I'll share that recently. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety recently. It's more than normal. Most of the days I'm really good. But I've also learned that when we have anxiety, we have fears. It's actually our body telling us, hey, there's something off, and there's something deep down that's trapped that you need to release. And a lot of these times we're dealing with all this stuff, we don't know what it is because it's from years past. And the only way we do that is to really get that close relationship with God and understanding what that is. And Him revealing what that is, whether that's your higher conscious, however you believe. I'm not even going to continue going on to that. But you understand when you're surrendering this that I had these fears that you have. It's a sign. We always want to run from the pain. We always want to run from the suffering. But I teach to run to it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to surrender it and find out what it is and to move past it, to find the freedom, to find the confidence, to really find fulfillment, is to walk into the pain. And I know that sounds crazy, and I did it for years running the other way, and I guarantee it. It's going to make you more miserable than you already are. Or I should say, you may be feeling. I know I was miserable. I was sick all the time. I was angry. I was sad. I was grieving. And grieving is not just from death. It's actually death to many different things. And I walked through it. So this anxiety was extremely, I mean, it was a lot. It was almost unbearable. And I wanted to quit. And this was just a couple weeks ago. I wanted to quit. Because it was too much. But the good thing is I didn't. I kept leaning further into God. I kept leaning in further and further. And asking, what is it? What's holding me back? What's the attachment? What's the fear? What's going on? Why am I feeling this? What is the lesson I need to learn in this? A few days goes by, still dealing with it, so I'm going back and forth. I would go from peace to anxiety, peace to anxiety, peace to anxiety. And I kept asking, what is it? What is it? And deep meditation, because that is where God is really connected with you. And finally he reveals to me 10, not just 1 or 2, 10 fears. All at one time he exposed these fears that were holding me back. It was extremely painful, and I go, no wonder I had all this anxiety. I knew there was something there. I knew there was something, because anxiety is not just to have anxiety. It's something that's not right, something that's deep down, something that's trapped that needs to be released. And he revealed these 10 fears to me. 10. And I surrendered those to him one by one. And I got very detailed in when I was doing it. And not only that, I looked for the part of me, the part of the ego that I needed to die to. And I needed to surrender to that. And I found that as well. And I surrendered it. And you know, that was 10 layers all at once. The surrendering of my ego was just one. There may be more layers to that, because I guarantee you the work I've been doing it for years. I didn't just get here by saying, oh, poof, I worked on it for a minute and now I'm good. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's worth it. It's so worth it to when you build a powerful relationship with yourself. Now you can build a powerful relationship with your daughter. That's what happens, but it always starts from the inside. We always want to go outside on everything. And our outside world is a reflection of who we are on the inside. So if we want our outside world to change, we need to change the inside. And stop running from the pain. Stop running from the anxiety. Stop running from the anger. Stop running from the fear. Stop running from the doubts and the worry. Face it. Figure out what it is. Surrender it. And when you do, you'll find freedom. You'll find confidence. And you'll have fulfillment. And when you have those things, now you have your personal strength. You have stepped into and owned your personal power. Now you can show up authentically. And there's peace in that. And when you can do that, now you can show up for your daughters the way they need you to. You can show up the way the world needs you to. All right. I hope this has served you in some way, and do me a favor. Do me 3 things. First of all, like the video. Secondly, subscribe to make sure you get notified of future videos, because I'm going to be sharing this. You're going to be right in my living room in this intimate setting as I share my pain, as I share my lessons, so that it helps you. And then 3, share it so others can benefit from this. And then 4, leave a comment below. And I will be going through these comments. I'm gonna look here in just a second to see if there's any comments or any questions in here now. But leave a comment. Ask your questions. What did you get from this video? What did you get from this lesson that I just shared? And be detailed about it. Do as you want to be. Because I promise you this, there's other people who are struggling with the same thing that you are. And by you asking that question and me answering it, it's going to help them too. And you're going to help so many, because there's going to be so many people that are to come and they're going to watch this video. So share that. Share what you got from it. Share what you're struggling with. And let me know what the big thing, the big aha moment that you got from this video. And again, share this video. I want to make sure that I'm spreading this movement, this revolution, to break the cycle so that dads can to release that junk that has been going on from generation to generation that leaves us angry, that leaves us frustrated, that leaves us sad and depressed and disconnected from ourselves, from our families, and from the world that needs us, and to be stepping into the purpose that we have. There are a ton of people who are seeking freedom. They're seeking confidence. They're seeking fulfillment. But they won't show it on the outside because they have to put that front because they're ashamed of it. They're ashamed of being exposed and feeling like they're a fraud. I'm saying don't. Share this so they can get this message. And if you are someone who is struggling with surrendering and doing it correctly, and you want freedom, you want fulfillment, and you want to increase your confidence, have unbreakable confidence so you can build a powerful relationship with yourself and in turn build a powerful relationship with your daughter, leave me a comment, shoot me a message, just type in freedom in the message. You can even email me at tony@tonyfonte.com. I will put that in the comments below as well. If you don't want to leave it below in the comments here, just type in freedom in the subject. Send me a message on Facebook, freedom, and I'll reach out. We'll have a conversation. Let's put a plan together. Let's walk this journey together so that you can just change your life just 1 degree and take it to the next level and have the freedom that you want. Love you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll have you tune into the living room here shortly and share another lesson with you as you come into the Model Dad Revolution living room. I don't know what we're going to call that, but just welcome to the living room. I'm going to answer some questions now if there are any, and then we're going to end if there's not too many of them. I just want to scroll here really quick and just to see if there is any. Okay, Keith says, hi. Hey, Keith, thank you for your support and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Okay, who else we got here? Any other questions? I thought I saw one. Michelle Road, thank you for watching and tuning in and your support. Great message. Love these videos. They always seem to relate to me in some way. Of course, I think because we're all connected in some way. So this is why I share this pain. This is why I share these messages. Before I would have this kind of filtered message and try to have to be just perfect. No, I am going to come full force, full-fledged, and give as much value as I possibly can. And I'm going to share my pain. I'm not ashamed of it. I know people may want to judge, and that's okay because they're judging themselves. But I want this because I want more of this, Michelle. I want you to these messages to relate to you, so they hit home with you in some way, and you can take something from them, and then put it in your own life, so you can surrender, so you can find freedom. So thank you very much for tuning in, supporting me. I greatly appreciate it. And then Miss Trish Voight says, hey Trish, how are you? All right, I don't see any more comments right now. We've come to the end of the show, and I will have you back in the living room here. I don't know, I might do it tomorrow. Depends on what comes about. And I have another message for you because I got a lot more I want to do. So thank you very much. Continue to leave your comments. Again, reach out, freedom in a message in the comments below. If you want to take your life to the next level and you're seeking freedom, confidence, and fulfillment so you can have a better relationship with yourself and a better relationship and have a powerful relationship with your daughter. All right, love you all. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.